Hello and welcome to your daily Google News. Yesterday, Google announced that they're improving their broad match pairing, meaning the way that they use broad match in order to identify relevant search terms. This is an ongoing march on their behalf to move everybody to broad match and smart bidding, which makes a lot of sense for them because they get to control their inventory and their advertisers and maximize the value of both. It can put you at a mild disadvantage, but honestly, it probably helps you a lot, especially if you're more of a first mover in your space or your industry. What they're saying is they're trying to improve the understanding and search intent and predictability in how keywords match. This is what was interesting. They go out to say that since 2019, our research team has made significant improvements in how we interpret language queries and search intent. What's funny is when you open that article, it's from 2019. That doesn't feel like since 2019. It feels like back in 2019, and since then, there have been no updates. This technology that they've created is now applying to their broad match. So, the way that I interpret this is Google has something akin to, I hate the term AI, by the way, because it's just such a freaking catch-all that people who don't understand things use to define the way that computing works, which is a perfect definition for me. So I'm just going to say that Google has some level of AI that is able to determine what people mean when they search for stuff. So this is a good example that Google offers. A query like 1995 5-speed transmission seal input shaft is now able to match with the broad match keyword auto parts. That's worth meditating on just for a minute because that is a hell of a departure. It's a hell of a departure. And if Google's good at actually matching those things, because in this particular instance that feels very relevant, then I think that we're all going to benefit because there's a significant amount of traffic that you're just never going to be able to put inside of clean semantic grids. And, Google can bring way more to you using broad match and smart bidding. We've actually seen that in some accounts. However, it's going to bring a lot of irrelevance too, especially if you're in an industry where, for whatever reason, Google hasn't been as good at identifying intent. So you have to pay attention to your search terms. But yay, we have search terms back, which is great. So I'm not as trepidatious of this as I would have been had Google not given us our search term reporting back, which, by the way, has still been awesome. Google goes on to say this means that broad match can now help you find more relevant, high-performing traffic using fewer keywords. That scares me just a tad bit too, because I feel like not key phrase mining and sculpting is going to put you in a position to inhibit your reporting and start to identify the common denominators from a manual perspective that are performing for you. Split off things like ad group, create custom landing pages. We're more and more and more reliant on the machine. So it's interesting to me that that's the direction that Google is going, because it actually feels like the connection between your Google Ads campaign and then your web properties is context dependent. And if you're using fewer keywords, then you have fewer contextual connecting points. And that actually hurts things like user experience, which would hurt ad rank, etc. So use it at your peril, right? Google's on to say that note that if you have eligible exact match keywords, or if you have an eligible exact match keyword that is identical to the query, it's still going to be preferred. So here's what Google is doing: is they're saying, look, your broad match isn't going to steal from phrase and exact, and they've defined the hierarchy here. I'll go back to it, but this is important for us to know because they know what we're afraid of, and they've actually put in guardrails for it, which I think is great. I think it's great. So they're going to consider relevant signals in addition to ad rank, which is helpful because that's also what dictates what you pay. So, Google could here in this particular instance trigger the wrong keyword in your account. And when I say wrong, I mean the one that's going to end up costing you more and potentially ranking you less, but they're not doing that. They're defaulting to the phrase with the highest ad rank, with one caveat, which is shown a little bit further down, which I'll get to. But they go on to say relevance is determined by looking at the meaning of the search term, the meaning of all the keywords in the ad group, and the landing pages within the ad group. This is why this whole thing is interesting to me, because fewer keywords also means fewer, how do I say that? Fewer specific directional components. Less nesting. Do you know what I'm getting at? I'm saying this poorly, but I think y'all get it. So then they go and tell you, okay, if you have more than one broad match term, then ad rank is what's going to decide. If you have broad match and one exact phrase match, then whatever's more relevant is going to be shown. If you have exact match or phrase match keywords that are deemed similar or less relevant than these broad match keywords, there's still a chance the exact or phrase match keyword will be selected if it has a higher ad rank. So they're, again, relying very heavily on ad rank. And then over here, more than one exact or phrase match, the keyword with the higher ad rank is going to be selected. So this is, all basically ad rank dependent. The caveat is only relevant broad match keywords from the most relevant ad groups will be considered, and then we'll rely on ad rank. So they have their own little internal hierarchical structure, and then ad rank comes into play after the fact. This I thought was funny. Going forward, we recommend you group keywords into thematically consistent ad groups, so your ads will serve from the ad group you expect them to. What do you mean going forward? That's been the rule since like pre-Google. Weird freaking recommendation, and then they give you this little example where if you have food delivery and you deliver pizza and sushi, then you have 3 ad groups, which are pizza delivery, sushi delivery, food delivery. Cool. This is what I'm getting at as far as being dangerous in delivering fewer keywords, because you do want semantically appropriate ad groups and split up in a way that allows you to drive them to landing pages that are contextually appropriate. They go on to say, also note that when you use broad match with smart bidding, there's no benefit to using the same keywords in multiple match types. Google just told you not to perform keyword sculpting. And again, I think that puts you at a mild disadvantage if you know what search terms are working for you and you want to start bidding more aggressively on the search terms, especially if they're context dependent with audience overlays and those types of things. So I think I disagree with him as far as there being no benefit. It's going to be, case by case. But I would just be really careful about taking their advice wholesale with things like this. All that said, it sounds like good news. It sounds like good news because broad match and smart bidding, when it works really well. And it sounds like broad match is going to get better and actually further reaching, but you have to pay attention to your search terms. You have to cultivate a negative keyword list. You just can't be lazy. So that's your daily Google News. Like, comment, subscribe. See you tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give us a thumbs up. That lets YouTube know we actually know what we're doing. We shoot a video every single day. So if you want to be notified, hit that subscribe button. And if you have any input, don't hesitate to hit us up in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. We get very little human interaction. Thanks for supporting our channel, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow.